this video today, I'm going to do a review on the Sony A6400 and my thoughts on whether or not it's a great camera or a good camera for a new videographer who's never used a mirrorless or DSLR camera. Because I bought this camera over a year ago, right when it came out. As someone who has zero experience with these kind of digital cameras, so I'm going to be reviewing it from a perspective of a total beginner, sharing my pros and cons and answering the question of whether or not I would buy it again. So if you're curious to know more about the Sony A6400 for new videographers, definitely keep watching this video. So hi, I'm Lindsay from LaVida Media, and on this channel I'm going to be making videos, tips and trick videos for brand new videographers who have zero experience, and especially for people maybe they're not interested in being a videographer but you want to learn how to use a camera like the Sony A6400 or another camera, any other camera, but you want to use it for YouTube. So I'm going to be talking a lot about how to use these cameras to make YouTube videos as well. So if you're interested in learning any of those things, definitely subscribe to my channel below. And if you have any questions about videography as a new new camera owner, definitely let me know in the comments below any question you might have. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and let's get into the video. So before I bought this camera, I had probably researched for over 3 years a camera that I wanted to make YouTube videos with. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I make this review, because I bought it specifically to do YouTube videos. But I have also had other opportunities using this camera outside of YouTube to make a little extra side money. So that's been really great too. Anyway, so I'm going to get into the pros and cons first. So as a total beginner, when I picked this up, I barely even knew how to turn it on. I could see like the on-off switch here, but then when it came to the menu, I really had no idea what was going on. But I ended up buying a couple of courses to learn how to use not just this camera, but just DSLR, digital cameras in general, and mirrorless cameras, and so that really helped. But one of the cons I had, and something I really didn't think about, was not just the cost of the camera, but the cost of the lenses. The cost of the Sony lenses can be more expensive than if you get a Canon camera or a Nikon camera. But I would say that these lenses, this is not actually a Sony, this is actually a Sigma lens. Sigma lenses are really popular for the Sony APSC cameras, and this is considered a Sony APS-C camera. Basically what that means is it's not the fanciest professional camera, but it's also not the most basic either. It's kind of in the middle, but you can do professional work with this camera. But the lenses can be expensive, and they can range anywhere from about $250 brand new all the way over to over $1,000 brand new for Sony lenses. Sigma can be a little bit cheaper. Well, it really depends on the length and other factors, but the lenses can be expensive. But you could always look for lenses on Craigslist or OfferUp to try and get a better deal and save money. Also, you can look on bh.com or ADOBE.com under the used lenses to also save money from credible sources instead of buying from a random person on OfferUp or something. So the other con that I have for this camera is that, and you've probably seen this in a million Sony A6400 reviews if you've watched other ones, is that the camera angle for the pop-up is really wonky. And I heard that they did it like this to make it look more compact instead of flipping it out to the side, but it does make it difficult if you're filming yourself and you want to put the microphone on top. It kind of defeats the purpose of like seeing yourself and like making sure you're in the frame and everything. But those are really probably the only two major cons I have with this camera. So let's talk about the pros. So one of the main reasons I bought this was for YouTube, and I had watched a lot of reviews of other Sony, of the older Sony cameras, like a Sony A6300 or A6500, and even the Sony A7 III, which is a lot more expensive. But one of the things they all had in common was that they frequently overheat within 20 or 30 minutes. And with the Sony A6400, it no longer overheats, and it does not have a time limit anymore. You can shoot video as long as you have battery. Another thing I really like about this camera, and one of the reasons I bought it over Canon or Nikon, is that it is actually smaller and more compact, but it's actually just as powerful as those bigger, bulky DSLR cameras. And in fact, this is smaller and it's called mirrorless, and mirrorless tend to be a little smaller than DSLR cameras. But yeah, they pack the same punch or more punch. And I like it because when you're first getting started into videography or even photography, you feel kind of awkward, like going in public with the, like, at least I felt awkward. Like I didn't want people to like, oh, what if she's taking a picture of me? Or like getting some B-roll. So I like the compact size. This is a Sigma 16mm lens. When I bought this, I was actually kind of shocked. It was a lot bigger than I really wanted. Probably I would have gotten the Sigma 30mm instead, but everyone was like recommending this one, and it's probably like the most popular lens for this camera. But as a new videographer, it was a little bit bigger than I wanted to purchase, but I just don't have any regrets purchasing it. So I put this lens on, and it is the 50mm 1.8 lens. And if you do any research on YouTube videos and which lens you should get, people, especially with Canon cameras, always recommend to get a 50mm lens for your YouTube videos. But with this APS-C lens or APS-C camera style, it doesn't really convert to 50mm. It comes out to be something like 80mm instead because of the sensor size. I know that might be a little bit too much jargon if you're a beginner, but to make a long story short, 50mm on this camera is more like 80mm. So you have to put this lens really far back to get like a headshot. Like you probably have to put it back, I would say 10, 15, 20 feet to get this kind of frame that you want. So I did buy this thinking that it would be great for YouTube, but so far I've never used it for YouTube. Well, I made one video with it, and actually I'll link it up here so you can see, but I didn't use it for a headshot or anything like that. It does have OSS, which is optical stabilization, so it's less jittery, which is a bonus, but most of the time I was using it on a tripod, so it didn't really matter. But this is a Sony lens, just so you can see how compact it is. When you get this, if you get a Sony A6400, it can come with a kit lens, which is a flatter lens. It doesn't have like the major or blurry background because of its certain factors in the lens that the kit lens comes with, but it's not a bad lens, and I think for a beginner it's totally fine. I only bought the body, so I don't have that kit lens, but I kind of wish I had gotten it because it is more compact and I think beginner friendly. Compare the 50mm to the 16mm, and it's a significant difference. Another cool feature is that you can send pictures you take from this to your phone directly using an app. And if you just want to shoot some quick pictures with some friends, maybe a short video, you can do that and send it to them. If it's a longer video, it might take a really long time, or you might not be able to do it. You might have to plug it to your computer and do it that way, but you can use the app to send images and some short videos. Overall, I am super happy with this purchase, and I have zero regrets on purchasing it. But about 7 or 8 months later, the Sony A6400 came out, and the Sony A6100 came out. The Sony A6400 is actually, I think, around $500 more than this, and the only real difference is that it has more stabilization in it. But in all honesty, you can see the videos on my channel, all the videos I've done so far that say handheld on it. I did it with this camera and it was handheld, and for me it was pretty smooth. So you can check out those videos, I'll put them up here so you can see the handheld footage. So I don't know if the A6400, if you have $500 extra and that's really important to you, definitely go for it. But if you don't want to spend $500 extra, I think this is still a great deal and a great purchase. If you are just getting started and you're not totally sure if you really want to get into the more the videography side and creative side of using a mirrorless camera, you could go for the A6100, which is one of the newest cameras that has unlimited recording as well. It doesn't have all the different filters and creative profiles that the 6400 has, but for a beginner, I think it's still a great choice. Or you can get the A6000, the Sony A6000, as a used camera off Offer or Craigslist or something like that for under $300, $250, $300. If you just want to practice and get a feel, the A6000 is still a great camera, especially for a beginner. So you really can't go wrong on any Sony A6000 all the way to 6600 series for a new camera. I think it's perfect for a beginner. If you want to see some of the videos that I've made, definitely check out these videos over here. And so far, most of the videos on my channel, if it says handheld in the title, it's a handheld footage video. And you can see kind of the evolution of my skills as well. So if you have any questions about the Sony A6400, definitely leave it in the comments below. I have links to this camera and the other Sony cameras I mentioned and the lenses in the description if you want to check them out on Amazon. That's where I got this camera. Actually, I might have got the camera from BH. And I think I got this lens from Adorama. This one I got from Amazon. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.
Take me away.